Take your time. However you want to introduce.
Take two. We just butchered that opening. Anyway, what's up, guys? This is Slayer here. Today I'm joined with one of our best in the community, Veladan, who goes by, well, it's Eric who goes by Veladan. But if you want to say hi, Eric, go for it.
Howdy, everybody. I'm happy to be here and looking forward to show you guys some of this interesting game, home, community, whatever that we've kind of wrapped ourselves into over the years.
Hell yeah. Well, so we had a little idea here where kind of want to do like a kind of a zero to hero, just doing a pretty lazy XP session. We're going to probably do like 30-minute increments or just short videos, going up from starting at level 0 all the way up to about hero level. And we'll hopefully have some guests on along the way, etc., where we can kind of talk about and showcase some of MUME's community and people's thoughts and opinions and just the characters we got here. But Veladan's going to be our first guest here, and so we're going to basically just hop into it, and that's pretty much it. So first thing we're going to do here is we're going to create a character. I'm already behind because Veladan is way more.
I'm waiting in the wings.
Yeah, he's way ahead of me right now, so I'm going to do this. All right, we're going to do free peoples. What did you make?
I made an Eridorian man fighter.
Wow, you went like just as default as it gets. Okay, I'm going to do the same. Actually, no, I'm going to do a Rohirrim just to kind of keep it interesting.
Yeah, everyone chooses Dunedain, so I figured we'd, go a little off meta and showcase some of the other sub-races we have.
Everybody does do Dunedain. Is this just because of Aragorn?
I think that's a big part of it. And they've got that cool factor. And I think if you're trying to min-max the man race, I think they're probably the best in a lot of cases. Although all the sub races do have some interesting qualities that I think are worth exploring and checking out. So,
yeah, that's fair. Let's just do. I'm gonna do balance between all the choices. That looks pretty good. 16 con is rough, but you know what? Who cares? We're gonna make it work. 16 decks though, that's pretty nice. What are you? Are you like a warrior player usually, or a mage player, or like what's your?
I think I'm usually on a cleric if I'm playing free peoples, but I actually play a cleric on dark side as well. I don't know. I play everything. I've been playing this game for so long. I play everything, but warrior and cleric are probably my two go-to classes.
Fair enough. Yeah, I would say. It's weird, like you start off with like playing warrior or something, and then you branch off into like mage or thief or whatever. You're like, oh, this is so much fun, and then you get into combos. You're like, oh, this is so much better. And then like a weird thing happens where you like drift back to pure classes. You're like, fuck all that complexity. I'm just gonna do the pure thing here. Keep it simple. All right, I am gonna skip this intro though because wait, no, I don't want to quit. I do want to keep playing. How do I skip the intro? Pray, right? Is that the command?
Type pray twice. Yeah, it'll prompt you after the first time.
Yeah, the intro is basically like a little tutorial thing, a little dream sequence, and it's got pros and cons, but it's I don't want to do it.
You meet Gandalf, which is cool.
Yeah,
Gandalf
you do
is
meet
there.
Gandalf. Spoilers, first 10 seconds. But yeah, you do meet Gandalf. Okay, are you build?
I'm build, and I'm in the halls of Mandos, so I'm waiting.
So I am here with you. All right, let's go ahead. Where do you want to start? What do you think?
Should we go to the Tower Hills? I mean, that's sort of that
is a good call.
The newbie zone, as it were.
Let's do Tower Hills then. I totally would have auto-typed Bree or something. So yeah, Tower Hills relatively. Actually, I mean, it's annoying because you're like, oh, they're like relatively recent that we did Tower Hills. I don't know how many years ago that was, but it was a long time. But it feels recent still. So, can you high five in MUME? Is that a thing?
I wish.
Just kind of clap. Nice. All right, let's do this here. Oh, whoa. I'm looking at the map right now, and it's they added. Are you seeing this? Are you playing with the latest version of Mapper? They've got like a like I see like clouds and stuff behind me where like the map is a discoverable map. It looks like, so we're gonna have to like explore our own map, and like
I don't have that.
There's literally moving clouds, so this is gonna be cool. All right, well, I'm gonna turn descriptions off. I know
somewhat controversially, I always leave descriptions on because I always like reading the descriptions, even if I'm. A lot of people think it's crazy, but
bold move. That's a bold move, but it is a lot of reading. It is a lot of reading. Here, I'll go ahead and leave for right now, though. So here, follow me, and let's see. Oh, okay. So I moved once, and now, oh, I see what happened. Okay, so no, the map is still here. It's not a procedural like discovery type thing. Apparently, when you're in Mandos, though, it shows like clouds around you to show that you're in heaven.
Interesting.
That's a cool touch. I didn't know that. That's really cool. Okay, so we're in the Black Hills. So first things first here, I don't know, do you want to do quests or you want to just kind of roll with XP?
We can do quests. I mean, I'm also fine just doing EXP and just wandering around. Mm-hmm. We should showcase the Prey Kit mechanic because that is, it's automated now. It didn't used to be back in the day.
Yeah. Let's go ahead and do that. Prey Kit. Yeah, remember back in
just
the day.
Just kind of waiting.
Pray for a kit. You'd have no equipment at all. And you'd just be crossing your fingers that Rogan was on or something. But yeah, this is a mechanic that if you're a newbie, and you don't have to do this because you can get, I think using the quests, you can get a pretty good amount of equipment just by following kind of the kind of storyline that they've kind of laid out for you a little bit. But this is a great way of jumpstarting your character, just to have some of the basics.
You can get to about level 15. It's like 13 to 15 just by questing. Mm-hmm. I've done that. I did that recently. And once you get to about level 15, there's a little bit of a gap once you get to Bree, but you can quest a fair amount early on.
Really? You can go all the way to 15?
Yep.
Wow, that's really good. All right, well, first thing we're going to do here is practice. So since we're both warriors, we're at the warrior guild here. What kind of warrior did you build?
I mean, high strength, high con. I'm going to go slashing.
Slashing? All right. You'll
classic.
Probably be the tank then. I'll use a spear because I'm Rohirrim, and I'll be the damage or whatever. So maybe actually you'll end up leading here. But for right now,
sure.
Going to practice some endurance, practice some parry, and our weapon skill. That's always a good start. And then the second kind of most important thing that you're always going to want to make sure that you get is your ranger practices under control, right? So you always want a little bit of wilderness just to kind of make sure that you can walk around smoothly, and then ride is probably the other most important one.
Swim and climb too.
Swim and climb are huge. Swim and climb. Although I don't know about you, there's not a lot of places you're going to go at level 1 unless you're doing like TP Mania, where you're trying to get a whole bunch of travel points early, where you're probably going to be climbing or swimming that much. But
that's true, but you never want to be like low moves and walk into a pond and drown.
That is
you know what I mean?
True. That is also true. All right, let's go ahead and I don't know. Have you leveled the newbie recently?
It's been a little while. I often front load my TPs, so this is the first time in a long time where I've just done it organically.
We are gonna organically do it, and then we're gonna totally run it.
That's perfect.
Travel point problems, and it's going to ruin the videos, and it's fine. But here we are. Anyway, we're going to go ahead and start killing some deer here. This should go pretty quickly when we got 2 of us here. But yeah, while we're kind of just getting these first couple levels under control here, so do you want to talk a little bit about perhaps, I don't know, I mean, you're a Maya that's working on some stuff. You got any zones or anything you've worked on or anything like that?
I've done, so there's quite a few quests that I helped design and write that are in game now. Mm-hmm. They're higher level quests. The Scepter quest for Darkseid is something I worked on, and I can't forget. Hold on, I have to remember not to forget to assist.
Don't leak all this stuff. Maybe you should leak all this stuff.
I'm not going to leak anything, but I've done quite a few quests. And I am actively building some stuff now. I won't divulge what that is, but things are happening upstairs, and there's quite a few people that are working on stuff. Mm-hmm. So I know a big complaint is, we don't get enough information about what's happening.
MUME is a very secretive development environment.
It's very secretive. It's very opaque, mm-hmm. but I promise you that there's a lot of people working on some pretty exciting, cool stuff. And hopefully we'll be able to put it into players' hands sooner rather than later.
You heard it here first. Mordor, next zone being released. Mordor.
Rohan's coming out. Come on.
These snakes are kicking my ass, by the way. I am level 2 now, though, so we are.
I am also level 2.
Actually, might as well go ahead and showcase this now. I'm going to kill this goat. Actually, my wimpy's probably a little bit low. I need to. Do you remember it's account import?
Import. The character aliases, I think.
Alias. There we go. Boom. Perfect. Yeah, everyone's got their own alias system, which only they can use. And then, wow, you already have rescue? That's crazy.
1 point.
Nice. Oh, I'm gonna miss the XP. Nice, perfect. All right, so we'll showcase this. If you're a newbie watching this, is a good thing. Usually I'll have someone leading, and honestly, they probably shouldn't get super low. But if they do get super low, then it always helps to. You always want the person who is kind of the most healthy to be usually the one leading, because they're the ones that are going to be entering the room first. So since we're both warriors, we're actually going to swap off here. I'm going to.
Do you want to go practice some bandage?
Yeah,
to show
exactly.
That? Okay.
That's exactly what I was thinking. So let's go do that. So as you level, you're going to want to go and keep. So every time you level, you get a certain number of practice sessions, and those we call them practice points, and they can vary kind of depending what character or how many you get will vary depending on what kind of character you're playing. Light side characters normally get 10 or 11 or something. Oh my goodness, I'm awful right now because of this because of the actually, I'm going to practice a tiny bit more bandage, because otherwise
you might make it worse and kill yourself.
That's going to be bad. All right. But anyway, so every time you level, you're going to get practice points, and you want to go back and put those practice points into some abilities. That's one area I'd really love that we could make a little bit more intuitive. Once, it makes sense. All right, so yeah, I'm tired, by the way. I don't know what your...
Yeah, let's go regen a little bit, and we can chat about these mechanics.
Status is. How do I turn on the group manager? View, toolbars, side panels, group panel. Oh, okay, there we go. Now I can see your situation as well. All right, cool.
So the thing about MUME is, I'm sure you've talked about this before, but it's very much a product of the 90s and very much a product of things like Dungeons and Dragons that predate MUDs. So MUME still has quite a few of these vestigial mechanics, I guess. So you have to go to a trainer to train, rather than just getting, points when you level up, and you can distribute them, wherever you are, or you have to go to an inn to we call it renting, but that's where you quit for the day. So there's still these things that, would make sense if you grew up playing Dungeons and Dragons, or you were familiar with how games were developed in the 90s. And I think slowly we're modernizing some of that to, run in parallel with sort of what people expect with MMOs and modern gaming. But I know that that's a big sort of bugbear for newbies is, how do I quit the game? Can I quit anywhere like I can in an MMO or World of Warcraft or whatever? And that's not the case in MUME.
Yeah, it's interesting too, because even though those are, like you said, I'm ready to go, by the way. Yeah, I'm hurt, so that's...
Yeah, I'll buff. No problem.
Even though there are a lot of mechanics like that, which are a little bit dated, there is a certain amount of charm to that, I do think. And maybe that's just me being nostalgic or something. Oh, I'm going to change my spam settings again, because I'm seeing all the missed hits too, I think. Change spam.
I agree. I mean, it's definitely interesting, and there is a charm to it. But if you're coming to MUME having never played a MUD before, that could definitely be just a point of confusion. I mean, once you figure it out, it's oh, well,
Yeah, the concept of not being able to quit a game whenever is very strange. It is very strange. I wonder if there's a better way of, I don't know exactly how we nudge players for that. I know we give them a little prompt message, or not prompt message, but we give them a little hint message, if you quit now, you're gonna lose all your stuff. But
I'm personally a fan of allowing players to camp rent below a certain level, or maybe in a certain geographic area. If you stay west of the Shire or something, you can camp rent. And if you have a newbie flag, or however you cut that cake, but allowing players that sort of you're camping out in the wilderness, which is very much a part of the Lord of the Rings story.
Very Lord of the Rings. Yeah. Maybe you could even make it just a gold cap. If you have more than 10 gold worth of equipment, you can't camp or something like that. That's a great idea, though. That's a really cool idea. Because that would also, you'd also be able to save newbies where if like they disconnect, then you can basically say like if you have a newbie flag and you fit the criteria, then they just auto camp rent you.
Right.
Which is kind of what happens now, but just through disconnect. But I don't know. That makes a lot of sense to me. Yeah, so you're working on Mordor, as you said, or Rohan. So
Coming TM.
When you are playing though, what's are you more kind of like a explorer? Are you deep into the PK scene? What's like kind of your vibe when you're playing?
I love PK. I think that's the secret sauce that MUME has. If you're looking for a pure, this is my opinion, controversial as it may be. If you're looking for a pure PvE experience, MUME is not the best option. There's definitely better options if you want a PvE, whether that's Lord of the Rings Online or World of Warcraft or any other Baldur's Gate 3. Those are great PvE experiences. But when you take MUME's PvE experience and you combine it with the PvP component, I think that's what keeps it really exciting and different from anything else.
Mm-hmm.
Now, a lot of people feel that's controversial because when you try to enter into PK and you've never played MUME before and you're just signing yourself up for a quick death, but nothing gets the heart rate going, in my opinion.
Agreed. It is. I mean, it is exciting. It is so exciting. And honestly, it's moves are tired, by the way. I don't know if
Okay, me too.
I'm not hungry or anything. Classic newbie mistake is you get hungry or thirsty and then you run out of moves, which
Let's get some moves here.
Basically, if you're hungry or thirsty, you regenerate all your stat points very, very slowly. And so it's easy to run out. Yeah, it's such an interesting question because Jaharu was talking about this in the Discord recently, where on the one hand, part of like dying and losing all your stuff is fantastic, right? Because like it creates the stakes, right? Like you really are excited to one, kill someone, and then two, like you really don't want to die, and you don't want to lose that, right? But then also at the same time, obviously you don't want people rage quitting out of the game and never coming back because they died once. Finding that balance is tough. I think it's honestly in a pretty good state as it is. I don't really want it to be more lenient.
Agreed.
But there's definitely. I mean, we've all been there before, where we.
Man, I've rage quit, man. Of course.
Never playing this stupid game again, and can't believe I'm wasting my time.
I was reflecting on this the other day. I'll just keep moving a little bit, and then I'll continue talking.
Yeah. It's hard to multitask.
Looking for animals and try to get us little TPs.
Mm-hmm.
So I started a long time ago. My uncle actually got me involved in MUME. This is pre-mapper days, but my real life uncle, is a player named Gengi, and he used to solo raid Bree, and he's well known, sort of among the old guard within MUME. And we used to play Troll together, and this is before mapper. And I was reflecting on how I felt when I die on my character as a kid, because I was still trying to PK back then, and there was no mapper, as I said. And if you're a troll, you have to expect to sun die at some point. And I sun died a lot. And I was thinking about this, and I was like, I don't remember getting that upset about it as a kid. I mean, I was just kind of in it for the love of the game, kind of.
Mm-hmm.
And I've definitely felt more upset as an adult when I die. Never mind sun death, but whatever. And I don't know why or how that's changed, but I was just thinking about that the other day.
As an adult, it's harder to stomach.
Yeah.
I think another part, and this part I think we actually do. I think this part we actually do really struggle on, and probably do need to address is, and I don't have a good way of addressing this yet, but it is very difficult if you don't already have some experience player killing, getting into player killing, because you pretty much you have to die 15, 20 times, which is not really that big a deal. But there's really no low level or mid level PK, right? You have to get to legend. You have to bring a certain amount of resources. We're up to level 3 now. Did you hit level?
I am level 3. Yep.
Oh, nice. All right, so you got a mule. I'm going to grab
And
this donkey
if
here.
you can't get that, I got that donkey. Okay, cool.
But yeah, I don't know how you get new players who know nothing to be able to gracefully join in on the war without just getting massacred over and over again.
So I'm a big fan of the battle coach.
Yeah.
I think, even though I think PK is the secret sauce of MUME, and I don't want to pull people away from the PK experience, having some type of battle coach or arena training ground where players can get accustomed to PK mechanics, I think is a good idea. There should be some guardrails set on there so people just don't live in the arena and never venture out and do PK, because I think that defeats the purpose. But I think having that training ground is a great idea. Those exist in MMOs, which I think MUME's competitors aren't other MUDs. A lot of other MUDs are just weird, like furry things that people go to roleplay. That's changed a lot since the 90s. I think MUME's primary competitors are other MMOs, and we should be, in my opinion, we should be adopting some of those mechanics that players are accustomed to. Not all of them, because we don't want to dilute what MUME has, but I do think there's a way to gracefully introduce players to things like PK.
Yeah. The battle coach is a great way of doing it too, because it kind of creates a kind of low tension environment. Although,
the pack horse here if you want it.
Oh, sweet! I'm gonna grab that then. So we're kind of walking around the hills right now, just looking for stuff to kill. We're slowly going up the levels. I'm level 3 now, and we need TPs or travel points. And
that's why I'm kind of wandering around trying to get some TPs.
Really, most of MUME's early game is just walking around and killing stuff. I mean, a lot of newbies are funneled into the quest pipeline right now, but certainly the old school way of doing it, and I think how most people, once you get past the first couple quests, you're just killing a lot of stuff. So really, the trick is just kind of finding stuff that is not going to kill you first. If you get, I
remember as a kid, I wanted to max out my trophy on everything, and so I would spend like hours inside Bree killing sparrows.
Oh, nice. Get 2 XP for it.
Yeah.
But you can, I think what's one of the best parts about being a lobby is you level so fast, and that's just so gratifying. Like, oh yes, my character's growing.
And you see the power bump when you go practice and whatever. We'll go practice here in a little bit.
Maybe that's actually maybe something that would be kind of a good idea. Totally random, but like maybe like when you level and you, right now when you level, it's like you level and that's it. Maybe when you level, there should be like a little hint that's like, oh, go spend your power points or your not your power points, your practice points.
Your prax, yeah.
Because it's you really don't know what you get when you level until you go around and like look for things like, oh, my hit points are higher or my stats are higher. Like you don't have a lot. There's not a lot.
That's
of, like,
what I mean about
like stuff that you've got.
Like adopting MMO best practices. Like you'll get pop-ups and stuff in MMOs, and now that wasn't always the case. Like you remember EverQuest. You kind of would have to go and talk to NPCs and prompt them, kind of very much like a MUD would, and that was sort of like the first step outside of MUDs into MMOs. But then as the MMOs have matured, people get accustomed to having pop-ups and getting their hand held a little bit more. And I think that's a good idea, and I don't think it would dilute MUME's sort of hardcore essence, I guess, if we were to do that.
Yeah, and what you say there is actually really important, right? Because to a certain extent, yes, it is. There's certainly some modernization that needs to be or could be done that would be really helpful. But like a lot of the pull is the hardcore nature of it and the fact that it is a text game, like not like it's a very unique experience, and you almost don't want it to be like super heavily visualized, because that would make it not what it is. And
I think the mapper is a great balance with that, because with the mapper, you almost are playing like a retro, like 2D game almost, and so it's got enough modernization where if players are accustomed to playing like, those types of games on Steam or whatever, they can pull up the map and like, oh yeah, like this is not so different from that,
Exactly. And everyone, even in graphical games, like if you're playing Call of Duty or something, everyone's got a mini map display. So everyone's familiar with like, there's a map that's happening that's showing me where I am. That's not technically what the world is, you know?
Right.
Wow, TPs are really tough at this stage of the game.
Yeah, we've been wandering around a lot, and we still need it to level.
I'm already TP locked.
Well, I'll make our way slowly up north back to Tower Hills, and we can practice a little bit.
Do you have any when you, let's say you're starting a new character from scratch and you're not doing kind of this, which is a little bit more of this is not a true walkthrough, it's more just a showcase of things. But what is your strategy going from like 1 to 10? What do you do?
I start at level 1 and I go and gather 30,000 travel points.
30,000. Jesus.
So I can do traveling quest at level 15.
Goodness.
So that's how I always start. I always front load, and if I die at level 1, there's no consequence.
What's your method? Because I know a lot of people like do the Moria run and stuff at level 1 and stuff, but
I don't generally enter Moria. I used to grid walk, and that is not the most efficient way to gather travel points. I kind of just wander around. I hit all the water rooms, make sure I have a boat on, get enough rides so I don't fall off my horse all the time. And I just wander Arda, basically. I stay out of places like DG, Dol Guldur, and Moria, and the super evil places, but I'm hitting everything. And just, it'll take me a couple hours to get about 30K, and then that's when I start the XP journey. I love quests, and I am definitely a achievement collector.
Yeah.
So I do all the quests just so I can check out my achievement catalog and get XP and travel points that way as well. So yeah, I mean, I front load my TPs and then I'm doing quests if I'm not like racing to meet someone at a certain level. Otherwise, I'll ask for some help or whatever. But usually I'm just doing quests.
Nice. Yeah, I think normally I'll do the sim TP span. I usually don't 30,000, man. You are a legendary TP. That is crazy. And I usually do some sort of I'll run to places which are some of the dangerous places just because you die in one hit and you're level 1, you don't lose any XP anyway.
Right.
So who cares? But I just don't have the patience for a lot of that usually. What's your gold collecting strategy?
I mean, as a lobby, I kind of just get what I can get from looting things and selling it. As you get older, you go Quake Moria and collect medals or whatever. But I don't really have like a super optimized gold collecting strategy. I just collect all like the weapons and shields and stuff that I find and sell, and usually have enough to just buy basics that way. Yeah, other than getting TPs, I don't really have this like optimized path. I still enjoy reading the descriptions and kind of like immersing myself in the world. When I'm TPing, I listen to a podcast or I listen to music, and I just kind of get into it. I mean, I love MUME; it's my favorite game. So.
Yeah. What kind of music do you listen to when you're TPing? Is it like
anything
kind of stuff, or are you just like just screamo metal?
Whatever I'm in the mood for,
lawnmowing zones with. Yeah, metal.
Right, rolling down the river on a boat, listening to, I don't know.
Or the Lord of the Rings soundtrack. They just added some soundtracks basically to zones in Mapper. We're not going to showcase that today, but we'll hopefully do that pretty soon. Because that is well, what are your thoughts on that? Do you think it's cool? What are you? Because
I have not actually messed around with that. I know that there's been like efforts to add music and AI imagery to certain rooms and monsters, and I forgot that was an option, which is maybe an issue, by itself. I don't even know that exists, or I knew that existed, but I just had forgotten about it. So I think that's great, and anything that adds immersion, I think, is a good thing. But I don't have an opinion because I haven't really messed around with it much.
Yeah, I think you're always gonna have haters. You're always gonna have haters, right? Where someone's gonna be like, that's not good. I think from an audio standpoint, it may feel a little bit weird, but most people are already practicing again. Let's go ahead and get some practicing in. I'm going to start practicing some bash because bash as a warrior is super important. It basically stun locks whoever you're fighting once you land a bash, which is, probably the most important skill, if not the top 3 for sure, skill that you can have.
Especially as a warrior. Yeah.
So that's what we're doing here. Of course, we leveled. Oop, I am practicing the wrong thing. I'm going to train that off real quick.
That's another thing. Another newbie issue that that is a little bit more challenging in MUME compared to other games is having to correct your mistakes, whether that's stats, which we add a little bit of we have a little bit of an option there of the train stat system, or repracking, which you typically have to wait for things to decay.
That
I
hurts.
think that's not newbie friendly, and I think that's a top 3 issue. But definitely
it really hurts,
something.
especially since it takes like days or hours for practice to go off if you mess up.
Make it a gold sync, and that would solve, issues of gold glut, in the game.
Yeah, so you like have to pay, like, okay, you can.
And have it ramp up. Like if you start repracking a lot, it's 2x, 3x, 4x, whatever it is, and until a certain time period passes or whatever, there's ways to cut that cake. But it could be a gold sync, which, what DTs and death traps used to be, which no longer are really part of, the MUME. We've got old DTs and stuff, but that was their purpose, was to remove equipment and gold, and that's not really an issue anymore.
Yeah. I don't know. There's some folks who, when you ever add a mechanic, it's got to be like very lore accurate. I don't know how you. I mean, you could make the argument that you have to pay money to learn things. It's kind of hard to make the argument you pay money to forget things, but. Oh yeah.
I am a big stickler for staying true to lore, but I think staying true to lore and having mechanical or having mechanics that encourage gameplay are 2 different things, and they don't have to be. Doesn't have to be such a bright line of separation between them. I feel like we can navigate that.
I think it's a good idea because you're right. It's incredibly unforgiving, right? You've practiced the wrong thing. Let's say you're a warrior and you're like, I can practice lightning bolt, and you practice lightning bolt. You waste 7 practices, and now you're just like, well, I mean,
I can't even use it.
Sure, they'll be back by tomorrow or the day after, but that's a long time to ask someone who's new to wait. Yeah, that's a great point. I didn't even think about that. Equipment in general also is an interesting spot, I feel like, right now, because like you said, there's not as many gold sinks, and there's a, I don't know if I'd call it inflation, but it almost feels like everybody's always kind of in a full set, and I'm not even concerned about like shinings and like legendary equipment, but this is very unpopular, but I'm on the opinion that you shouldn't be able to buy like fine metals anywhere. I feel like the A tier equipment should be pretty hard to find too. Like I think most people should be running around in like regular chainmail kind of a thing, or regular metal.
I'm totally in agreement with that. I think it's way too easy to get max equipment. I think it's way too easy to kill some of our super mobs
or
at
even
legend level.
Almost max equipment. Like if you like and maybe this is a good thing. I don't know. It's hard, but like at legend level, if you want to get 90% of the way to having a quote unquote full set, like as a warrior or as a mage or anything, you can do that in 15 minutes. Like 15 minutes for sure. You can get a full fine metal set with a decent weapon and a shield and whatever, or you can enchant your own staff and have whatever, blah, 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 right? It's not going to be a full set, but like you're almost there. And I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
So I think something that MUME is lacking, and I would encourage the management, as it were, to consider this as a future project, but MUME does not have a crafting system. And every single MMO has varying levels of complexity with their crafting, and I think that's a huge missing area in MUME. Mm-hmm. And it would solve. Let's see how we do against this boar.
Here we go. And it would start bashing now.
It would solve a ton of those problems. Where if you want, top end equipment or almost best in slot equipment, you should be crafting it, and you should be gathering equipment. And crafting is a huge part of lore. In fact, in Tolkien's universe, most magic items are crafted.
Mm-hmm. I mean, the ring is crafted, right? Like,
right, exactly.
Right, my bash is not.
I'm gonna flee and come back.
Go ahead. I'm gonna rescue. Or yeah, that works.
And so I think that would be a huge addition to MUME in both an interesting addition. It would be add complexity and all sorts of things.
Yeah, that would be really
nice.
Cool. I mean, we kind of have like a basic version of that with the rings, but it's very
very basic,
very primitive. But at the very least, just an economy, because there really isn't any economy in MUME right now, which is a shame because like 90% of I mean, there's a lot of items in MUME. Have you ever gone through like on God and just like looked through items and there's just like pages and pages and pages of items, and we don't use any of them.
Yeah, so many of them are dead items that aren't being used.
Because the economy's inflated. So
exactly.
Why would you ever use this thing that's not perfect? Wow, I'm getting wrecked here too. Yeah, so right now we're kind of we started in the Tower Hills. Now we kind of moved west a little bit. We're a little bit northeast of the Grey Havens. We're starting to move into a little bit harder mobs. We're fought a boar. We're fighting this snake, which is absolutely wrecking us. Oh, your bash is working. Why is your character so much better than mine, man? What the hell? What did you do? I have
50% bash.
Now. Jesus. I think I have like 60% bash. What is happening? No, it's not quite 60.
We got this.
What's your? Yeah, I think we got it. We got it. The bash was huge. Yeah, if you are a newbie watching this, there are two kind of, I would say, core principles in early XP, which just make things a million times easier. The first one, and probably even the most important one, is something called parry split. And it's the idea that everybody has an offensive bonus, and your offensive bonus basically just means how good you are at hitting something. And everything's got a defensive bonus, right? Which is, well, it's kind of hard to explain, but there's a dodge bonus and there's a parry bonus, and you add those together, and that's someone's defensive bonus. I am hungry, so I need to eat something. I need a bandage. And in order to hit someone effectively, basically your offensive bonus should be higher than their defensive bonus. And that's how you hit people. Now, when you are with a friend and they are also hitting the same thing you are, since you both are trying to hit this thing, your offensive bonuses kind of combine. So let's say you've got an offensive bonus of 10 and you're sitting with someone who has an offensive bonus of 10. Now, when you're attacking this thing, you kind of have it doesn't work exactly like this. Basically, the way it really works is that your opponent's defensive bonus is cut in half to handle each one of those offensive bonuses.
Just the parry side, though, to make it more confusing.
Yes, just the parry side, so the parry bonus, not the dodge bonus, which is kind of adds the complexity, and is a good thing. But the rule of thumb basically is here: the more people you have hitting something, the easier it is to hit that thing, and the faster it's going to go down. So, very important if you are a newbie to like either partner up with people or find like a mercenary, or even like go to a pet shop and grab a dog or a bird or something that can assist you, because they will make you hit a lot harder. And then the second thing is just how important bashing is. So bashing in another game would be a crowd control ability, a CC ability. And when an opponent is CC'd, they can't be hitting you back, which means that it is going to make you much, much, much more... well, you're also going to hit them a little bit harder too, because I think it lowers their defensive bonus in some way. I'm not entirely sure the exact math on how that works, but the defensive bonus is lowered, I think.
At least for the first hit, because technically they're sitting when you bash them, and then when you hit them, they stand up again for that second round. But yeah.
But simply just due to the fact that they can't hit you back is going to save you a lot of hit points. So bashing is a really important way of making sure that you will be able to XP more efficiently. So and it's kind of unique, because most other skills you learn really aren't going to help you that much outside of like just the raw stats of it. Like if you're learning a mage spell, it's just damage. There are a couple CC spells out there like blind and sleep, etc. But bash is a critical one that, especially as a newbie, since most newbies are probably warriors, you're going to run into early, and it's really important to get.
I'll lead again. I think you're more hurt than I am, so follow me.
All right, let's go for it.
Yeah, and I do encourage newbies to play warrior. I think it's a great way to introduce yourself to the game. Some people will say, "Oh, just make a troll. They're a lot stronger and it's more forgiving." Other than the sun death component, which isn't necessarily a big deal when you're a newbie. But I'm still of the opinion that the game is built around introducing the game. MUME is built around introducing the game as a white side player, as a free person. So you get things like Tower Hills and there's more quests. And so the community tends to be more, I guess, newbie friendly, because the expectation, if you're on the dark side, you're a bit more experienced. Not to say that people aren't friendly over there, they are, but I do encourage people to make a free person warrior. I think it's a great way to introduce yourself.
Agreed. I'm also not a big fan of the using trolls on newbies, because even though it is easier, because equipment doesn't matter, that also doesn't teach the player why equipment matters. Which is, if you're a new player, you should be trying to have it. You should be exposed to all the different systems and why they matter.
Something I haven't been doing, which is a recent addition for travel points, is when you open up a door for the first time, which some of them are shown on your mapper, you get a little bit of travel points for doing that. I think it's 7 or 9 TPs per exit. So if I open these stones here, for example, it'll say you found your first hidden exit, and that will give you a little bit of a TP bump. So when you are making your characters, make sure you go through every exit and are exploring the map in totality too.
Very nice. All right, let's aim for. I just leveled. I'm level 5. Let's try to get to level 6, and we'll probably call it
you're
there.
Faster than me. I'm a little bit more to level 5.
It's I think it's because
the hit.
Yeah, I'm the one that's doing more damage.
That's another thing. You get experience for killing the monster, but you also get a little bit of experience per hit. So if you're, we call it buffing in MUME, but if you're the tank, you're not hitting so much because you're focused on your defensive capabilities, which has to do with your mood. You will get less experience overall. Not much, but you'll see we'll get less.
I mean, it stacks up. It definitely does stack up. This is why it used to be back in the day, people would get really angry when, where'd that board go? When they would group with thieves, because thieves would take all the XP because they would shoot things.
Yep.
I don't think really people care about that anymore, but it certainly used to be a big deal. I definitely remember both being the thief and then like being in a group and the leader being like, "Oh, you're a thief? No, you can't do that." But that's just a little.
There's level 5.
Nice, very nice. Yeah, these boars are really good XP. Really good XP. I'm kind of surprised that it seems like your bash is a bit better than mine, which is kind of surprising because bash's strength and dex focused. And I got a lot of dex. I'm rocking 17 current dex.
I have 17 dex as well. 15 because of wounds, though.
Yeah, I'm down to 16 because of wounds. Nice. Nice. As long as we're here, we'll kill these cubs too.
For cub, it always made me, isn't it supposed to be piglet or something like that? Is cub the actual?
Yeah. Here, go west so we can kill it.
I'm following you.
Oh, are you? Okay. All right. We'll go back to some easy XP for a little while. So usually, everyone's got their own style of leading, but generally speaking, I'm a big fan of the Tim school of thought, who played Cariandel, which is that pretty much the more things you kill, and the faster you kill them, the more XP you're going to get, even if those things are not necessarily the hardest things that you could kill. But obviously, killing harder things gives you more XP. But then
there's downtime associated because we're low hit points after those boars.
Trying to find that balance is tough. So generally speaking, how you I'd say like a safe balance is you go kill something, you get to high hit points or whatever, you start off at relatively full. You go kill something that's a little bit tough, gets you a little bit wound down, and then you go kill easier stuff, which is really not going to damage you while you heal all the way back up, and then you go kind of repeat the process. Ideally, you don't really want to be killing something super hard, getting super low, and then having regen all the way back up. I can't really think of any scenarios where that's particularly efficient. It happens sometimes, but I don't know. What do you think? Have you ever run into a scenario where that's like the move?
No, especially if you're, as a lowbie warrior or newbie warrior, you don't have access to healing spells. Some warriors typically get a cure light wounds later on. You want to be using your hit points efficiently, and especially when you're low, certain skills like endurance will help you regen more quickly. But if you're a low B character, those skills are already low to begin with, so it takes a long time to regenerate. So yeah, keeping yourself topped up as much as possible, I think, is the way to go.
Ooh, flea. Yeah. So we were skipping a whole bunch of boars there, and then we ran into a lion, and we're skipping the lion too, because right now we're
both kind of messed up. Maybe we will sleep a little bit.
Yeah. We'll. What's your hit points at right now? You're at.
I'm at 39. Yeah.
I think there's down here to the southwest. There's a bunch of like stags and stuff. We could kill those pretty easily.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's do a little bit of this. Just past him. There we go. Nice. This is here. If you want to go ahead and lead, I'll follow him. Kind of similar to crafting. I think it would be really nice if there was better ways of making money. Like the pelt system, for instance, I think is great, right?
Yeah,
but
that's actually a good way to make money. But yeah, go ahead.
Because of inflation, now it's not really like you don't want to make good money off of it, obviously. And honestly, maybe it's actually fine. Maybe I'm just my gripe is again more with the fact that crappy equipment is kind of useless. But
if there was a crafting component and you had pelts and you bring the pelt to a tailor or a leather maker,
that'd be so much fun, and it would give you something to do. And actually, one of my favorite things, which is totally useless now again, but like back in the day, again, a way that you could make money is you would kill wolves around the cities, and you can bring their furs in because they're like considered like a pest basically, and the secretary will give you 1 silver, right, which is no money. You can't buy anything with 1 silver, but it was a cool like I'm like accomplishing the mission, and
you're killing the wolf anyway, so you get the bonus bringing in the pelt, and you're pest control for the city basically, and protecting the farms or whatever you want to spin that from the roleplay perspective. I know, I agree.
Yeah, I don't even know if I'd really call it a gripe or anything, but I think it's really cool. I think it's a really cool feature that we have. But yeah, especially if you added that into some sort of crafting system, like you need fur in order to make a leather, blah blah blah. Like oh man, how cool would that be? Of course, it's always
make little leather swatches or something, and then a armor or leather maker, whatever your craft is, uses those, and you could create a whole economy around it.
Even if it wasn't you directly creating it, but it was something along the lines of like kind of like the lion's mantle quest, whereas but like much more simplified, like you're at the tailor and they can make you the boots that you want, but you just need to bring them pelts. That's it. Like
sure.
Okay, like that'd be pretty cool.
And it breathes life into like those more rare animal pelts, like cave bear fur and black warg fur that used to be really coveted, that aren't so much anymore. Mm-hmm. You could do something again with those and use existing items for things.
Exactly. That's definitely something that kind of Gods of our levels probably could at least draft up some
like a proposal, basically.
Yeah, for something like that. Unfortunately, it's definitely a little too easy to come up with good ideas and then not think about how hard it is to implement.
Yep, all the edge cases and stuff. Yep.
Yeah, and especially poor Jahara and Imago, etc., and everyone who has to implement them, and they're just like, "You want what?
Have you thought about this? Mm-hmm. Oh no, and then
and of course you got Rogan saying no, and then all that stuff."
Those guys, though, I'm a big fan of them, and I have to salute them because we've got there's a lot of people that play MUME, both as players and as the god level, and they really do care about the game, and I think that's super cool.
No, absolutely. It's I think we do have a very good community. And that's actually one of the cool things I think about like the Discord, which is almost a shame that more of that's not in game. But like the Discord definitely has like the Discord's a very like a strong community place where there's a lot of there's a lot of
passion.
There's a lot of Elven Rune stuff that we don't need there. But there's still quite a bit of like if someone goes to the newbie channel, like they're going to get help very quickly. Most people are very eager to hop in there, and people are pretty active in the gameplay. And even in random rooms, there's a lot of just like people just talking about personal lives and stuff, which is pretty wholesome. But it is kind of a tiny bit of a shame that in order to experience a lot of that, you have to exit the game.
Which, it's not, I agree. It's not that, like, all these other MMOs have Discords too, or other games for that matter as well. So it's kind of part of the ecosystem, but MUME is a text-based game. And so it's a little, I agree with you. I mean, it is a shame. And how to integrate those better is probably a worthwhile challenge to try to confront. But yeah, I agree, I guess.
That's the kind of thing that not really probably worth putting any actual effort into at all. But just,
I think we could kill some roots.
I think we can kill some roots, especially. Yeah, one of the things that you kind of have to. So right now we've kind of gone all the way north, and then we're coming back down south. We're kind of near the Blue Mountains, which is where the home of the dwarves are, and we're a little bit north of the west side of the Grey Havens, Forlawn. And kind of one of the tricks and skills that you learn as you're growing in the game and leveling up and stuff is kind of understanding what the different NPCs or mobs that we call, like what their strength level is, and not even just like what level they are, but like are they really good offensively? Are they really good defensively? Like understanding what you can handle at any given moment. Because every once in a while you walk up to something, you're like, we can handle this, and then you cannot handle it.
You start eating shatters, and you're like, I gotta go.
The first shot is a shatter. That's usually a good sign that this is not a good fight. If they hit you from full to shatter, like that's not a good sign.
That's another thing I like about MUME. Like, in some other games, content is gated based on your level. And MUME is a little bit like that. Like, there's definitely lower level areas and so on, but you can go anywhere as a level 1. And if you die, you die, So
yeah, it's very open world.
Yeah.
Which is awesome. And probably in the 90s, that was a very, that was pretty unique actually in the 90s.
Yeah.
Most games were kind of, I wouldn't say most games, but quite a few of the games in that time area were very much locked to like patterns that you had to follow. Like, I don't know, did you ever, like, even games that were supposed to be open world, like, do you ever play like the Myst games or anything?
Yep. Yeah. I remember Myst.
Like, you couldn't just walk around. You had to like click on places on the screen to like move rooms, basically. Great games, by the way.
The old Elder Scrolls and King's Quest, and yeah.
All right. I just hit level 6. Let's go ahead and get your level. How close are you?
I am 2.6K.
All right, let's grab that, and then we'll go ahead and
I'll start walking us back to. I can walk us back to Tower Hills, or do you want to rent in Grey Haven?
We'll go back to Tower Hills. That sounds like a good idea.
I know XP along the way.
Yeah, the game plan here. So let's see where we at right now. We're at 50 minutes already. So I guess the first one will be a little bit long. But or maybe we can. I don't really want to cut it down at all. But the overall game plan here is we're gonna essentially divide the leveling process into kind of chunks of 30 to, I guess, an hour time frame. And kind of showcase what that looks like. I think it's kind of hard to do that without, I mean, you can't just be explaining what's happening on screen all the time, because that's a lot of it is repetition, right? Like right now we're walking around and we're killing a cow now, and then we're gonna go kill something else, right? But I think that creates a lot of good opportunities for exactly kind of the conversation we're having here, where it's just kind of talking about stuff.
And that's the thing about MUME, is because, I think it's just the nature of the game, but you learn a lot of stuff through just repetition or experience or osmosis. And so, I don't think there's another way around it necessarily.
Mm-hmm. And just kind of grinding through it a little bit. What would be something that you would think for, if you need me to buff, I can buff here. I'm hurt at this point.
Okay.
a lot of new players, the first thing they do when they pop out is like, ooh, I want to kill an orc or something like that, right? But you're kind of relegated to, you know, killing garden snakes and whatnot. Do you think there's like what was your experience when you first started playing? Like what were the things that you wanted to do?
I had the benefit of having someone who already knew the game really well before I started. So we made trolls together and just PK'd.
Oh, nice.
But
straight into it.
But you know, you kind of have to put yourself in that mindset of like when you read the books, you watch the movies, like, you know, you're not necessarily a hobbit from the Shire, although you could be, but you know, you're kind of just getting your feet wet as an adventurer. And so if you were to go straight to the orcs, you know, you would just die, you know? And so you kind of, there's like that exploration component, you know, and Aragorn takes the party to Weathertop and they meet the ring wraiths for the first time. There's that like danger component. And I think having that, just keep that mindset that you're kind of trickling the content's trickling out to you and you're getting your feet wet. And like, you know, you'll eventually get to some of those more iconic evil creatures, but, and there's plenty of fun to be had without meeting them. Like there's bandits and stuff too, you know?
Yeah, that is good. You're right. Cause like you do need to kind of like earn that at a certain point. Like that feels good from like, no one wants to enter a game and then immediately go fight the Balrog, you know, and be like, that just doesn't feel very fulfilling. Right. I remember when I started like getting to hero was like, oh my goodness, can I do it? Can I get to hero?
And you can set your title and
I think that's a great thing. And it is cool. It is cool that unlocks, you know, although I think, because back in the day, hero level is when you could start PKing. And now it really has to be legend level. Like, technically no. What do you think happened there? Like, why do you think that shift happened?
So they did do the XP or the XP to level adjustment. So, like your power level was, when you became legend, your power level was pretty much equivalent to like a higher level character of the past, right? So, but yeah, I don't know. I've not really thought about that. I mean, you get your full access to pracs and stuff, you know, once you hit legend, because there's a few more levels there. When you're a hero, you still have, there's still for many levels to get your full prac allotment. But
I wonder if it's more, I don't know, just like just people optimized so much or something. Cause there definitely used to be a lot more just like worse players.
That's true. I mean, the player base has shrunk a little bit since its heyday, and the world has gotten larger. But then there's things that we've talked about with equipment glut and power level. You know, the power level of characters, if you're a combo class or a high level pure cleric or mage, is a lot different than it used to be. I think there's a lot of factors. I don't really know. I'm not sure.
Well, food to think about, food for thought for next time or whatever. But probably next time we'll probably do a better job of talking about what we're actually doing. But certainly in the early levels, I mean, you're just running around and killing snakes.
Yeah, level 6, killed some stuff. We're back at the inn now.
We're back in Tower Hills. So now we're gonna do what most newbies do not do, which is that we're gonna rent in an actual rent spot. Which basically means you go to an inn or something like that, and then you let them store your equipment. Yes, exactly, at the innkeeper. I think that's one of my favorite parts of MUME is how much the communication is through like social actions, such as like pointing or nodding or whatever, right? You'll catch yourself in real life doing that all the time, like responding to people with nod or smiling or whatever. Exactly. Kind of adds to the charm is the charm is real.
I mean, it's a text-based game that's about a book series, you know, so it's like you kind of have to be a certain kind of person to appreciate it, and I think there are a lot of us still.
I guess we're just nerds like that.
Exactly.
All right, well, my no quit's off, so we're going to go ahead and hop off here. Veladan, thank you so much for hopping on here and doing the first couple levels with us, and hope to have you back on here pretty soon.
Happy to do it. Yeah, no problem.
All righty, sounds good. I'm going to go red here, and hopefully people enjoyed this. Peace.
Bye-bye.